It's not magic. It's a lot of people working together every day to get something done. And the magic is doing it yourself. They don't like the hat.
When we first bought it, it was going to be a weekend place, so we were just going to have a little vegetable garden, do some flower gardening.
The tomato patch is here, and then the corn patch and the pumpkin patch.
You always hear about the siren call of something, and I think that this farm and this property saw us come into town, and she sang to us and said, you know, I need your help to tell this story.
Hello, neighbors. This might be the craziest hour of live television.
2 hours.
2
You
hours.
can come tour the farm during our festival.
Oh, Tito! Yeah, look, I'm not scared.
In the background, you might be able to see the Beekman 1802 mansion, and that is one magical place.
As far as the eye can see, all the way to that tree line, all the way up to the top of that hill. That's where we got married, on top of that hill.
I immediately knew Josh was a kind person. That's what drew me to him.
It wasn't my rugged good looks.
No.
No.
Definitely not.
We had a really wonderful life in New York. Brent worked for Martha Stewart, started her health and wellness divisions. I worked in advertising and was writing a lot. I think if the recession hadn't hit in 2008, our lives wouldn't have changed.
Here is the American Hotel that we're coming up on now. When we first pulled into town 10 years ago, this was the only building that had lights on.
When you first come across it, you're like, what is this place? Because it looked like a ghost town.
But this hotel is gone, this hotel is gone, that's gone.
Huge, hulking old hotel buildings and guest houses that were built in the early 1900s when Sharon Springs was a world-famous spa destination.
When a town has been down on its luck like that for many decades, it attracts a certain kind of person.
I don't like the canvas marks. You know, I'm very particular.
A person that makes things, that's creative, that sees opportunity and potential.
So now that it's positioned in the fire, just a waiting game.
That's what every person in Sharon Springs is like.
One weekend we came up, opened up the mailbox, and there was a note in there from this stranger, John Hall.
Hey, John.
And he said, I have a herd of goats and I'm losing the place where I'm farming. Can I please bring my goats to your property to graze?
Point to one, and he can name it. Who's this?
That's Taupe,
Who's that one?
Dina,
Who's that one?
Melanie.
Isn't that amazing? He knows every single name. We always say it was that first courage that Farmer John had to write that first note, put it in a stranger's mailbox. Ugh. That courage became Beekman 1802.
This is the highly anticipated premiere of Beekman 1802. Hi, neighbor! The most amazing bath and body skincare line.
We didn't set out to become farmers, but when the recession hit and we lost our jobs, it wasn't just about sending out resumes for the same old jobs. We had to figure out something different.
We literally did Google, what can we make with goat milk? We started fiddling with cheeses, making it in an old refrigerator in our basement. We realized pretty quickly that we were never going to pay off the mortgage on the farm doing the cheese. And so the second thing that showed up in the Google search was goat milk soap.
This is McGillicuddy's soaps, and Deb McGillicuddy was the woman who initially taught us how to make soap.
Our neighbors came to help us wrap the bars of soap at our dining room table and in our hallway, and that's how Beekman 1802 was born. Moment of silence.
Okay.
Moment. Shh.
What are we silent?
Just look at the suds.
Yeah.
It's
Yes,
like
like
you're
meringue.
bathing
Oh,
my
in
God.
whipped
Meringue.
cream.
I
I think
have
you're
to wait
going to
a
need
while.
more suds to cover all the important parts.
What?
This was actually the town's original mercantile. When we purchased it, the front had been completely boarded up.
Each bar of soap is still wrapped in brown paper, tissue paper, hand-tied bow, just like we did. One day we were making the bars of soap and a neighbor came in, Karen Tinney. She said, oh, I weave. And I said, oh, well, if we design something, would you make it for us to sell?
Yeah, if we're selling soap, we might as well sell towels.
The weaver who weaves these hand towels is Farmer John's sister.
And she said, I would love to do that. And then she said, oh, well, have you met this blacksmith? And we're like, no, I'd love to see his forge. And then just gradually kept meeting all of these artisans.
There's an individuality to pieces made this way. You know, each one has been handled. Each one has little flaws.
What we realized was there were great blacksmiths, there were great farmers, there were great gem makers, there were great weavers and potters.
The first thing I started making for the Beekmans.
Cabinetry work, the metal work, everything done by our artisans.
Our skill was that he knew how to create a brand. I worked in advertising. We could take the things that our neighbors were making and get them out to a bigger world.
And I'm the dreamer, so I'm always like, oh, of course we can do that.
If an artisan doesn't want to grow big, they can just sell us 5 things a month and we'll sell them in the Mercantile on Main Street in Sharon Springs. If they want to try to grow a little bit bigger, we'll sell things on our website. If they want to try to get really huge,
Look,
we'll bring their product to HSN or QVC.
red hot, over 10,000 are gone.
Wow. Williams-Sonoma said, we want 30,000 fruitcakes, and they were all baked right here at the Black Cat Cafe Bakery.
We're definitely not the smartest people in the room, but we're really good cheerleaders. And we truly do want every single person to be a success.
Since I started with the Beekmans 8 years ago, they've kept me so busy. And we've developed new products and we've tried new things, and so it's changed.
We're trying to help other people make a living doing the things that they love to do, while at the same time preserving this American craftsmanship, which we think is so important.
I love the idea that I'm carrying on a tradition. People don't need to have pots. They can go and buy plastic bowls, you know. Every piece touches my hand. My essence goes on through the pot. That's the reward.
By keeping warehouse and e-commerce here in Sharon Springs, we're able to keep the post office open. And anybody who lives in a small town knows that, you know, once you lose your post office, it's kind of the end of the town. Anywhere there can be a business on Main Street, there's a business. We've got a spa there, a restaurant, and a gift store. Somebody recently purchased this giant old hotel and is restoring that. So it's almost 100% comeback now.
And I think people leave their experience with Sharon Springs and go home and take that with them and think, oh, what little thing can I do in my community that's better than anything in a Beekman bag? That potential that you take back and do something on your own.
Let's meet the two guys that started this crazy revolution. We've got Brent and Josh. And
One of our big challenges that we sweat about every day is how does Beekman move forward without the two of us? Because we're not Beekman. It's this whole team of people in this whole community.
They're the founders of the future iterations of the company. And that's really what we have to grow and nourish is all of those founders, not just the two of us.